Hi, Gemini. I got through the whole reading. And I looked up and I wasn't recording, so I didn't pick the last two cards of roll of dice yet. But I'm just going on, and I checked the time to see, how far I'm into this, and I wasn't recording. So anyway, hi, welcome to Tarot Tag Tuesday, and the topic is unfinished business. And I'm tagging Serendipity Tarot for this. So hopefully she picks it up and does her own thing with it. But if not, still give her a check out and look-see. See if you like what she has to say. Show her some love and support. This is unfinished business because we have Venus retrograde ending on June 25th. And we have Mercury retrograde starting on June 18th going to July 12th. So just wanted to check in with some unfinished business here. Maybe taking a look at what needs some TLC for you still. Okay, to that end, everything else you need to know about this reading is in the description box below. I do have two different nail polish colors on because I was trying to decide which ones I wanted. I think I'm gonna go with this one. Anyway, so yeah, check the description box below. And if this is about you and another person, this could resonate with theirs or your moon, rising, or Venus sign. This is going to be a shorter reading just because I already went through everything and then looked up and realized, so I basically already said it before, so it's much more condensed. Some of you might be happy about that. I know I can talk. Okay, so, and I do prefer to shuffle or have something to do with my hands while I'm doing this, so I'm just going to pick these up anyway and do a thing. All right, so we have King of Wands, that could be Sagittarius. We have Page of Pentacles, Temperance, that could be Sagittarius. So Sagittarius right here, just saying. Seven of Swords, the Star card, that could be Aquarius. Eight of Wands, 10 of Wands, 5 of Wands, Page of Cups, 10 of Wands again. The Emperor, that could be Aries. 3 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Wands. Okay, so this is about you taking time for yourself, pulling back, not breaking up, not walking away, not just, but this is about you getting your life, your commitment, your priorities back under control by taking a minute. Taking a minute for yourself, maybe getting some more alone time in your schedule if you can, particularly with someone that you're in partnership with, whether best friend, business, close family member, whatever. But you've got somebody that it feels like there's issues of someone being truthful and being fair to you and feeling like you don't matter or that your contribution perhaps does not matter to a partnership or friendship or someone that you're dealing with, that you're kind of being overlooked and you feel like you do so much for this situationship and it's not respected or regarded, and you're waiting for the person to kind of acknowledge you or do right by you instead of you self-advocating, instead of you championing your cause. And it's kind of comes down to rushing in or proceeding without taking a more measured or prioritized approach to things, because when you don't have your own direction, you'll follow someone else's, right? So instead of taking things slowly and proceeding in a measured fashion, if you will, this is kind of rushing in, locking something down, and then maybe in hindsight figuring it out. And I think there was another, I think it was Aries or Libra that was like that too. But this is kind of hoping that someone will do right by you and sticking around and waiting for someone to make you feel a certain way or say this certain thing or do right. And on the one hand, it could very well be that you're just waiting for a legal proceeding to finish up, and then you'll be on your way and you'll be able to start your next thing. But it also could be for, I was going to say the Geminis I'm reading for, that you're in a situation where instead of realizing that you're not getting what you want and taking measures to correct that, whether that's breaking up or just some private time, you're kind of waiting for someone else to come correct. And you don't have to put yourself in a situation to wait, or you don't have to wait for that. If they come correct, they're going to come correct, whether you're giving them space and just letting them kind of figure things out. This, for the Geminis I'm reading for, you're in a situation where you kind of got yourself overextended and you're feeling depleted, and nobody's really noticing that or saying, hey, why don't we give Gemini a break? And so you'll sit and continue to do, but then get frustrated that you're not valued, instead of going, hey, I need a minute. I need to lessen this load. Where's the 10 of Wands here? I need to lessen this load. I need to do more for me, or I just can't do that. This is about being able to say no, or saying, hey, wait a second, we need to talk about that before I proceed much further. So this is self-advocating and doing what you want and getting control back in your life, because nobody else is going to give it to you. Nobody else is going to prioritize that for you. And it feels like you might be expecting someone to, and expecting them to come around and do the right thing, and you're making it as, it's almost like you're kind of waiting and being as nice as possible so that you can get that confession out of them or something, or you can maybe, and sometimes, in legal proceedings there is no talking, or there is like keeping things really civil so we can just get through this, but this just feels like you overextend yourself, and then there might be some frustration that people don't value your contribution or your time, and this is taking that control back, self-advocacy, and learning moderation, learning balance, and self-trust before trusting others. Not overextending yourself and then turning around and wanting to know why someone let you down. Well, you're the one that stuck your neck out and got a bruise, or bad analogy. Sorry, backtrack. Well, you're the one but just because you overextended yourself and you did for everybody, nobody's going to come back and appreciate you to filth about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh yeah, hey, thanks for that. And you're like, oh, but I'm doing so much for you. They're just kind of taking it all in stride. This could be not a romantic partner. This could just be like work or whatever. It is incumbent upon you to look after your own health and well-being, and to pull back if you need to for time, balance, and reflection, peace, calm, all of that as much as you can, because we've got you overextended. And part of that is because you kind of things have been happening so fast. Now, if it's a move and a job, that's the way it goes. As much as you can, get some time for yourself, but you're going to be busy, right? But if this is a romantic partnership, this is you kind of being not appreciated, not valued, giving a lot and getting back very little, and then getting mad that you get back very little. Instead of going, okay, I'm doing a lot of stuff here and I don't feel appreciated, or I don't feel like, just speaking to it somehow, some way, finding a way to speak to it that, hey, I'm not getting needs met. One step further, if you know that this person is not going to value you or get your needs, meet your needs, not expecting that of them anymore, and doing it for yourself, right? And that could be anywhere from pulling back or walking away, whatever it means to you. But waiting for someone to do the right thing, If you're going to wait, use that time for reflection and to figure out, or to do things that you want to do, instead of giving all your time to something that's not going to appreciate it. And there's an issue of trust here also, as far as feeling like you're being taken for granted, or, I just can't rely on them. They let me down. They don't tell me. They take me for granted. I can't rely on them the way they can rely on me. And that's partly because you volunteer yourself too much. What's showing here is that there's a lot of overextending. And I don't want to be rude. Someone said, you don't respect someone that kisses your behind. I'm not saying you do that here, but if you are always available and always ready and willing to do something for someone, find somebody who appreciates that, because whoever you're dealing with does not. And until they do, they don't deserve your effort or energy, quite frankly. If their love language is you doing acts of service and whatever, then I'm sure that I would hope that they'd be willing to give in kind. You know what I mean? Reciprocity. So to that end, speaking about lack of trust, that's not, quite simply, it's about picking better, trustworthy people, quite simply. Because before you trust someone else, you got to trust yourself. You can't trust yourself if you don't get yourself out of a situation that is not good for you. If you stay waiting for someone to do the right thing, I'm just going to give them space and hope that they do the right thing, and I'm going to give them opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to do right by me. All that does is erode your self-efficacy and self-trust. And then it makes it feel like, why doesn't my relationship ever work out? I can't trust anybody. Because you keep yourself in situations that aren't good for you. So this is about self-trust before trusting others. And to trust yourself, baby steps. More time in the day for you, more time in the schedule for you. Hopefully you can manage that. To think about things, to think about what you want, to do what you want, to say no, to have that time where it's just about you, where you're not doing for somebody else, or you have to be available, otherwise they won't call. Let them not call. There's going to be somebody else waiting for you that you're thinking about that's going to appreciate your time. And if they don't, you go on to the next one. You're worth more than a 2 a.m. are you up? Or whatever the heck it is. You're worth more than someone not appreciating what you're offering because you're offering a lot. So it's time that you get resourced, refilled, and you put up some boundaries so that Gemini gets served first. And then you're full up. And then you can go participate, not do for everybody, but participate. And the byproduct of that is self-trust because you've taken and measured, you prioritize yourself so you know that, hey, when it stops feeling good, I can pull myself back out of this because nothing is more awkward than me feeling totally alone at a big old barbecue when there's all these people around and I feel like I'm just sitting there by myself and I'm completely making up a silly example, but I hope you know what I mean. Just because you do acts of service does not mean that someone's going to be appreciative or know all that went on behind the scenes. You're working too hard for somebody that perhaps does not appreciate. And to that end, if it's work or whatever, you're pulling back and you're going to do more for Gemini than you do for anybody else. That's the simple part of it. Okay. Yeah. So much for keeping it short and sweet. Okay. So anyway. All right. And what's going to come out of this is, what's coming out of this, hopefully, is you prioritizing Gemini and looking at past experience to inform your future choices, taking past experiences and taking that into consideration. That's what I want to say, to inform future choices. Because getting mad at someone else for not appreciating your effort, it's like you're sitting there crying out to yourself, look at all this stuff I've done. Why am I not enough? And then part of you is like, well, why aren't I enough for you? Like, I don't want to do this, but I do it because such and such. That's a good one too. Like, why do you do it? Because if I don't do it, it won't get done. What happens if it doesn't get done? Well, then and that's everybody's got their own answer to that. But just hopefully some of that's negotiable so that you can just get more time for you because you're in a situation where you're not appreciated. And instead of getting yourself out of it, you're waiting for the other person to do right by you. So then you can have the story of, all my relationships aren't good and people are mean. And that's not true. That's not true. Somebody is out there that's going to appreciate all that you're willing to do in and for a relationship. I promise you that. So anyway, so that's the gist of it. So this is taking time. Once you get through this is taking time for, I said gist of it. That's the whole thing. Taking time to reprioritize what you want. It starts off probably giving time for this person to come around, and it actually ends up being you going, you know what? I'm not going to wait anymore. I've got something in front of me that I want to see what that's all about. And you're going to move towards that, kind of watching and observing and maybe getting to know someone and kind of just meeting on common ground, nothing real electric or electrifying and passionate, but you're going to take the time to get to know whatever this is. This could be also somebody at work. This could be a new job. This could be you leaving a job they didn't appreciate you and you're going to a new job where it's much more fulfilling for you because there's partnership and teamwork. So whatever situation it is, you're moving out of it, learning to say no, and you're moving into a new situation that isn't going to be like a barn burner right off, but it's going to be what you need to feel fulfilled and valued, and your interest will grow. But starting off, there's going to be caution because obviously, look what you're coming off of, right? But you're going to be taking the time to figure out if this is what you want as you go. And that's exactly what you need, is time for yourself. So, okay. All right. Can't tell you how many times I looked over to make sure I was still recording. Okay, Gemini. All right. 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, you need to disconnect. This could be what's keeping you in a situation that's not good for you is because fear and worry and that you might not be able to do it for yourself. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You're working all this effort. You deserve to be in a place where you're rewarded for that. And you will be. Look at that. 3 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands. 9. Collaborate. 3 of Pentacles. Collaborate. Yes. Okay. So if this is about work, because we got the King of Wands here too. If this is about you starting off on your own and feeling like, oh, I can't do it. Yes, you can. You can have your, oh, I can't do it. Give yourself time to go through the motions. And then you pick yourself back up and you fight for what you want. You pursue. You persist. It very well could be a lot of work in the beginning if this is a new job, not talking about romance. Because you're trying to establish a base and control, and it has to be that way. So it might be in the beginning, but look what comes out of it. Something that catches fire, and it could very well be that's when the time to collaborate. You meet someone of like mind, and you're able to really get your project off the ground, if we're talking about work. Okay, all right. It feels like you're taking your power back. You're going after what you want instead of waiting for someone to make you feel better or fulfilled or be honest with you or prove it to you or whatever. You're not waiting around anymore. You shift from that. Gemini. Six of Cups reversed and 10 of Cups on its side. All right, so that could speak to not feeling like you can move on, giving something time rather than just calling it and going, you know what, we've been here before, and it's just not working. I'm going to direct my energy elsewhere. So take a look at that and see if you're just kind of making excuses for someone, or if you're standing. It reminds me of like someone, instead of just leaving if someone's not treating them right, they stand there with their arms folded, tapping their foot, going, well, what do you have to say for yourself? You know you were mean right now. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you keep running into that issue with someone, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, that there's your answer. If you keep running, if the behavior doesn't change, you know? So this could just be you going through the motions, easing out of something that you are finding hard to let go of, because we all have been there and are going to be there again. And just kind of come into terms with the ending of a relationship. So, or the ending of a partnership, realizing that perhaps you're not on the same page, perhaps your values are misaligned, and right now it stings, and you're kind of having a hard time letting go of that or reconciling that. It will happen. This is about you rebuilding for yourself and doing what you need to do for self-trust and self-efficacy. So it shifts from you taking time to kind of let someone come around and do the right thing, to you going, you know what, I'm not going to wait around anymore. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be valued. And I'm going to pursue what I want, what matters to me. And if this isn't job related, it might end up being job related. But this is all about you shifting your focus to what is more gratifying for you and saying, enough, if I'm going to work this hard, it's going to be something that gives back to me. And then you meet someone of like mind that's willing to put in the same effort as you are, either for business or for a relationship. Okay, good Lord, 2 minutes. Yeah, no, it didn't even matter that I had them all laid out. Yeah. Thank you for stopping by, Gemini. Make sure to check out Serendipity Taro, whether or not she does the tag. Just giving someone else a reader shout out there. Much love to you. I hope you got something out of this. I know I talked quite a bit, but I just want you to feel like it's you. You don't wait for anybody. You do it, because you can. You're capable. All this effort for nothing. Psh. Okay, all right. Much love to you. Much love to you. I hope to see you in the next reading. Thank you for stopping by. Take care.